Hey, this is Maximize Your Influence and Kurt Mortensen here. We just finished up another podcast on how to spot the liar, how to detect that deception. Not that you could become a better liar, but so you're not blindsided by it. You can get the podcast up there below on the link at Maximize Your Influence. This is where I kind of expand one of the things that we talked about on the show, because deception, lying, it's in the news, it's in the media, it's in politics, it's everywhere. How do you know if someone's lying to you or telling you the truth? That teenager that says they're going to the library, the coworker that says they've got your back, right? The mechanic says that your blinker fluid is low. Who do you believe? How do you detect deception? And you're a lot better than you think, because I've trained interrogators, I've trained police officers, I trained different aspects of the military and of government to detect deception. How do you do this? How do you understand this? And a new research study came out of the university in Italy in the Journal of Investigative Psychology. They did various studies to figure out deception, and there's a new part of deception. Now, the old style is always reading the body language, and so you start off with the small talk. They call it the small talk baseline. They start with a small talk baseline. They start working through it a little tougher, get you to sweat, look at your body language. Are they lying? But people can prepare for that. You're really seasoned liars, or politicians as we'll call them. They can get past. They're used to lying. They do it all day long, so it doesn't faze them. They've already prepared themselves, and so they become very good liars. And criminals can be the same way. This study was comparing using that small talk to what they called comparative truth baseline. Now, this baseline is really interesting. It's a little bit different to where they bring you in, they talk about a topic, and then they go on to another topic, and then they go on to another topic. Then they come back to the first topic, and they say, now, did you say this? Now, remind me what you did. Now, how did you do that? Now, you sure about this? This is what, right? And you go back to the next topic, you keep bouncing around from topic to topic, and that takes so much bandwidth if you're lying that you're able to pick up on clues and deception, because it's easier not to lie. And that's the secret here, is that when people are telling the truth, they're expecting to believe, but when you're lying, you're always checking here and checking these facts, and that's what happens with this type of baseline, is that you are looking here and coming back here, and he said this, now what about this? Now remind me here, let's review this. You know, and after a couple hours, you can't remember what you said, what you did, if you're not telling the truth, because your brain can't handle that much information. And so which one should you use, the small talk, the body language, or the comparative truth? And the answer is yes, use a little both of them, right? The more tools you have, the better you are detecting deception and spotting those liars. That's the key to your success, spotting those liars so you're not blindsided. Now, here are key factors to understand here. The first thing you do is you always come in and start talking about some of the lame things like the weather, or I guess we call them simple things, where you're just looking at their baseline, you're looking at their standard behavior, and that's what you're looking for. Because once you have their standard behavior, now you can start looking for what I call clusters. Clusters of different types of behavior that's indicating deception. Because just because they take up less space, just because they touch their face, just because they start perspiring, just because they use more vocal fillers, doesn't mean they're lying individually. But collectively, if they start to cluster together, ding, 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 that can tell you that they're lying. So you have to have their standard behavior, and then you start looking for a couple things, especially things like eye contact. They'll start staring at you because, oh, I got to look at them. I'm lying. I got to look at them. If I look away, they'll know I'm lying. No, you're just looking for difference. Some people look at you a lot more, and some people look at you a lot less. Some people become more robotic because they're more aware of their movements. You need to be aware of these things. And here's another safety tip for you, is prepare a question that they probably haven't rehearsed or thought about. Let's talk about teenagers, right? Chronic liars. We know this. They went to the library to stay with their friends, right? Right. So they know that you're going to ask who they were with and what they studied and what the test is going to be on. They've rehearsed all that. So when you ask, they're ready to roll. Ask them something they haven't thought about. What color was the car you drove in? What floor did you study on? What snacks did you eat? Right, different things. Then you see the brain kicking in, the bandwidth kicking in because they haven't rehearsed it. And then you know you've got one of those clusters that can help you spot that liar. It works. A few tips. You want more tips? Listen to the podcast. Click on the link below at MaximizeYourInfluence.com. Get the podcast. Take your Persuasion IQ test. Get access to Influence University. Hit subscribe, hit the like. Really appreciate it. Thanks for being here. Go out and persuade with power.